Guten Morgen und willkommen zu unserer wöchentlichen Live-Übertragung der Tourismus Namibia Show. Also mein Name ist Frank Steffen, ich bin von der Allgemeinen Zeitung, aber schreibe halt auch oder bin auch der Redakteur der Tourismus Namibia. Wir haben wieder einige Themen rausgesucht. Erstens mal so hier und da ein paar Neuigkeiten. Außerdem haben wir dann auch wieder ein paar Urlaubsideen, die wir Ihnen bringen, zusammen mit Chloe Dieu. Naja, und dann am Ende noch ein kurzes Interview. Aber bevor wir dahin kommen, oder beziehungsweise unsere Topics, also unsere Hauptthemen anfassen und uns ansehen, kommen wir gucken nochmal schnell, was uns der Markt zu erzählen hat. Reklamen müssen halt auch sein und Anzeigen. Das zahlt immerhin für diese Art Shows. Also kommen wir zu den Topics. Wie gesagt, die Hauptthemen in dieser Woche. Fand ich interessant. Mit deutscher Unterstützung wurde in dieser Woche die Namibia Environmental Education Network wurde verabschiedet. Das geht viel weiter als das. Das ist im Prinzip ist das ein nationaler Grundsatz für Umweltbildung und dann eben auch die Bildung für die nachhaltige Entwicklung. Das geht dann also auf zwei Schienen. Der Dr. Alex Armstrong von der UNDP, also von dem Entwicklungsprogramm der Vereinten Nationen, sowie eben hier sieht man, der zweite von links ist Minister Pohamba Chifeta, das ist natürlich unser Minister für Umwelt, Forstwirtschaft und Tourismus. Und ganz links ist Frau Ellen Gölz, das ist die Charge d'Affaires der deutschen Botschaft hier in Windhoek. Und ganz rechts sehen Sie auch noch Dr. von Dodra. Wie gesagt, der zweite von rechts, das ist der Dr. Alex Armstrong von UNDP und in der Mitte steht der Umweltkommissar. Die haben natürlich jetzt diesen neuen Grundsatz verabschiedet. Und im Prinzip geht es ja darum, dass wir alle haben schon öfter berichtet über NADID und dann die Desert Research Foundation und all diese ganzen Projekte und Initiativen, die eben gefasst werden, damit die Umweltbildung hier ein bisschen besser vorangetrieben wird. Nicht nur unbedingt, obwohl hier der Fokus sehr stark auf den Jugendlichen liegt, aber es geht nicht nur darum. Es geht generell darum, ein Verständnis zu schaffen, und damit es eine Lebensart bei uns im Lande wird, dass der Umweltschutz, Naturschutz, all diese Sachen sollen eben viel, viel mehr Gewicht tragen, damit unsere Leute eben lernen, dass das nachhaltig tragbar wird und damit wir nicht nur in den Tag hinein leben, sondern wirklich uns eine Zukunft damit aufbauen. Natürlich, Covid ist natürlich nicht das Beste, was uns dabei passieren konnte, aber es geht ja dann irgendwann hoffentlich auch wieder normal weiter oder zumindest ein neues Normal, wie gerne gesagt wird. Ja, und dann hat unser Handelsministerium sich auch nochmal zusammen mit der GIZ zusammengesetzt. Sie werden da auf dem Foto gleich sehen, da haben sich in der zweite von rechts haben wir Gelinde Sauer, die ist von der GIZ, ganz rechts ist Klaus Schade, also Dr. Klaus Schade in der roten Jacke, das ist unsere Ministerin, also unsere Handelsministerin Lucia Ipumbu und dann war natürlich auch Brian Black dabei, der ist der Vorsitzende des Herstellerverbandes. Es geht ganz einfach darum, man möchte jetzt einen sogenannten One-Stop-Shop anfangen. Das ist natürlich jetzt mehr ausgerichtet auf den Handel, Aber ich denke, das trifft auch auf den Tourismus zu. Eines der größten Probleme, die wir immer haben, ist, wenn wir Firmen neu registrieren müssen, dass wir von Pontius bis Pilatus geschickt werden und dann am Ende nochmal eine zweite Runde das wiederholen dürfen, bevor wir endlich die Firma registriert haben und bei Social Security, also bei der Sozialversicherung, versichert sind und. Diese ganzen Ämter, das wird jetzt zusammengelegt, das soll auch im Internet dann also zugänglich werden, sodass sich, wer immer eine Firma registrieren will, eben auch im Tourismus, dann sich da einmal einloggen kann oder eben zum Amt selber hingeht und dann sich da einmal nur anmeldet und gleich alles erledigt. Statt, so wie ich das verstanden habe, soll auf Dauer auch das Finanzamt damit eingebunden werden und so weiter. Ich finde das eine absolut gute Sache. Das Ding ist schon ewig zur Debatte und immer wieder heißt es, nee, jetzt wird es und jetzt kommt es, aber naja, kleine Schritte werden gemacht und das ist halt einer davon. Und dann ganz neu in dieser Woche angekündigt, ab nächstes Jahr soll es eine sogenannte Tourism Levy, also eine Naturschutzgebühr geben. Die wird in alle Zugangsgelder gleich mit eingerechnet. Man hat halt festgestellt, dass wenn man die ganzen Parks, und wir wissen ja, dass immer wieder die Zäune ein Problem sind, der ganze Unterhalt klappt im Moment nicht so gut und ich habe nun einige Male den Haushalt gesehen für unser Umweltministerium und es fehlt an allen Ecken. Ich meine, das ist einfach so und irgendwo muss das Geld herkommen, wenn wir diese Sache in Ordnung halten wollen. Und es geht dann eben darum, dass wir die Infrastruktur ein bisschen besser unterhalten wollen. Und dieses Geld wird dann vom Finanzamt allerdings verwaltet. Also ich gehe mal davon aus, dass der Umweltminister da dann seine Projekte vorstellen muss und erstmal zeigen muss, wofür er das Geld überhaupt benötigt. Hoffen wir also nur, dass das Geld tatsächlich auch da landet, wofür es gedacht war. Ja, das sind unsere Nachrichten für diese Woche. Und als nächstes bringen wir Ihnen ein paar Urlaubsideen, wie immer, also zusammen mit Chloe Dürr. Da kommen wir gleich zu, aber wir wollen noch mal schnell hören, was die Werbung sagt. Welcome back. As you can see, we are now joined by Chloe Dürr, who obviously writes for Tourismus Namibia. Welcome in the studio.
Thank you, Frank.
And has become habit, we obviously would like to introduce you to a couple of nice holiday ideas, give you something else to think about instead of always driving down the same routes. We've got so much more. And in this case, actually, we're going beyond the borders.
I think hopefully borders will open soon. So if you are you should be planning to come to Namibia, actually taking the coastal route is a great alternative. Yeah. So I think we'll just be touching on a few of those today. But starting with Alexander Bay, I mean, I found it very sad to see how mining can actually destroy a perfectly beautiful town. And it was actually discovered in the 1960s and was believed to be the place of copper, but then in the 1920s diamonds were found, and so it was just completely and utterly taken to pieces to try and find those diamonds. And if you want,
so they actually found them in the town itself?
Well, on the coastline, because the Orange River mouth opens there. And so for me, I mean, it's you can see there, that's one of the derelict beaches that I managed to find, which shows remnants of the diamond rush,
yeah, and
similar
you always
to Coleman's
see that down the whole coast, eh?
But it's very sad to see how destroyed the coastline is, and it's just historical, really, of a time where the diamond boom, and then once all the diamonds were gone, people vanished, and so that it is almost like a ghost town, a functioning ghost town, but a ghost town nonetheless. Yeah. And it was just quite poignant because on my entire journey up from Cape Town, the presence of mining and coastal mining and everything was such a common theme, and just to end off the journey with kind of the mass destruction of or the remnants of that kind of intensive mining was quite incredible. But
it's pretty much something that you also see in the Spergebiet, because what literally happens is they've got to take the basic sand away, the topsoil away, to get right down to and Sifit, and they don't stop before they don't reach rock bottom, literally rock
Exactly.
bottom.
Exactly. So it's one of those very eerie, kind of fascinating places to visit.
Yeah.
But it just, it was quite poignant for me to.
What is always sad is that in those years, more so than today, but I think even today it is so, that they're not being forced to just remove that whole dirt and building rubble and whatever is there. I mean, it's always nice to see the photo of these old buildings, but then by the same token, here, like you can see this fence and so much other stuff is lying around,
and
which
obviously
really is a distraction.
not in operation at all. So it really is just damaging the coastline. But I think actually the next thing I wanted to speak about was a little bit of the dune rehabilitation, which I did see along the coast, which I think we'll discuss next. But it's just an eerie piece of history, really. But as I continued along the coast, you constantly see this mining on the shores, and then I was happy to see that there was dune rehabilitation taking place to try and prevent another Alexander Bay.
Right, that takes care of Alexander Bay, and then you went on to?
Yeah, I just wanted to cover a little bit about the dune rehabilitation that I saw as I continued along. Actually, just a nice tip to throw in here. Most of the coastal journey from Cape to Karas is along the coast, but not as close to the shore as one would hope. But the Saldanha Railway, if you get a permit, you're able to drive along it. And anyway, just you can see here, all of this coastal mining is happening because there are still diamonds in the deep sea. Deep sea diamond diving is a huge...
diving now,
yeah. And so what was nice for me to see was, even though this isn't great to see on the shorelines, especially not just right outside of the Namaqualand National Park, they are rehabilitating the dunes that are being destroyed in the process, which is hopeful. Because, as I said, to try and prevent that entire coastline from being damaged is...
yes, exactly what you meant.
Yeah, and so that was pleasing for me to see, although obviously we would like to see that kind of thing in Alexander Bay as well. In Oranjemund, I did see quite a lot of dune rehabilitation as well, which is great.
I suppose these sails are being put in there so that the wind doesn't all carry it away, so that
I think so. I couldn't quite work out exactly what it was.
I'm not sure it is that,
yeah, but it was pleasing to see that. And then just another coastal town was Port Nolloth, which was actually a fantastic place. I absolutely fell in love with it, just because actually of my experience meeting George Moyers, who's the he is the curator of the museum, which was unfortunately closed at the time. But he has fantastic life story. One of my favorite things about traveling is just being able to sit and talk to some of the people who really lived the area. I mean, he was a diamond diver, and he's lived the high life, the low life, everything that comes. He's done it all. I mean, he's been sucked into diamond tubes and all sorts of things. So
you can see he's a bit of an
but he has a heart of gold. I mean, he was walking barefoot in the town, and I honestly, we connected as if he was my grandfather. And just hearing his stories of you know the instability of being a diamond diver, and on the one hand,
and the risk,
major risk. But anyway, just as you're seeing here, this is Port Nolloth. I mean, this is McDougall's Bay, which is about 2 kilometers away from Port Nolloth, and we camped there at the McDougall's Caravan Park, which actually was right on the shore. And a beautiful setting, really. I mean, outside of the Namaqualand National Park, you don't really get to camp on the sea. Not shoes of choice for the trip. Quite funny, but but George had also lived in McDougall's Bay for a long time, and I think there's always a sense of nostalgia when you actually are able to connect with a town because of a person's experience.
Yeah, because he can actually tell you what it is all about.
But actually, an interesting fact really was Bartholomew Diaz. Port Nolloth was the last point where he had visited before the storm took him out to sea, and so he was actually there long before James Alexander had discovered the bay. So it actually has a very deep history.
Is there actually a cross?
I couldn't find it, but there is a cross. I believe actually the cross is closer to Alexander Bay though. But there is a connection with the Luderitz and with the whole Dyer's Point and everything, because obviously that was the coast that Bartholomew had been traversing.
Yeah.
So interesting. There's always a link. I mean, like you always say, borders mean nothing actually, and
well, the big thing is we decided there's a border because, well, if I say we, obviously our forefathers, but yeah, and this is really what we're aiming at as Tourismus Namibia. We would want you to come to Namibia, and not only come to Namibia, but actually have an experience coming here. So you'll see more and more that we try and introduce you to different approaches, whether that be via Botswana, whether that is from Zimbabwe in towards the northeast and so on. So hang on, we're busy having quite a nice program set up in that regard.
And after experiencing the coastal journey to Namibia, I don't think I'll ever drive that monotonous tar road ever again.
I've long stopped doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So
anyway, so there are a couple of new ideas. Thank you for coming in, and let's see what we bring you next week. Right, welcome back. Today we decided we wanted a different interview for a change. So on the line I've got Mr. Faustin Munanga. He's a freelance tour guide. Hi Faustin, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Yeah, no, fine. And thank you for making the time to actually appear on our show. And clearly, yes, what we would want is to hear from you. You clearly said that things are not going well for freelance people at the moment. Do you want to tell us a bit about it?
Thank you so much for giving us this wonderful opportunity to express ourselves.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
As you know, tourism industry, from December to March, April, it's always a low season for us.
Yeah.
So there are no more tour for a guide, especially those working as a freelancers.
Yeah.
And we were facing already the issue of the low season. And suddenly from March, all the tours we had have been cancelled completely because of the issue of COVID-19.
Yeah.
So, which is really understandable. Now, when you take in consideration from December, January, February, March, there was no tour, and then came the lockdown. Until today, there was nothing for provision when it comes for tour guides, especially freelancers.
Yeah, and this is a real issue. There's no net to that catches you. So how have you survived it this time?
To survive is a very serious question. Right now I'm talking to you. We have got more than 500 guides and drivers who are working as a freelancers. They have got no income. When the government put in place the process of getting some money from the Social Security and the 750, so this category didn't qualify. They were not able to go and get the 750, or they were not able to go and get the money from the Social Security, which was stipulated that only those getting, if more, 50,000 per year.
Wow.
So until now, there is no any provision to assist financially the tour guide and driver.
So you guys were not considered as part of the that drive that they had recently by the ministry, where they said everybody who's part of a conservancy, you don't fall under that sort of category where they try and assist you?
Unfortunately, we were not considered. Unfortunately, we were not considered, and we have no idea. I'm the one talking to you right now. 2 days ago, there was a conference, there was a video conference where the partner in the industry were to express themselves when it comes to the issue of opening the borders. And I was the one even asked the question to Mr. Digu, who's the CEO of NTB. Is there a way to register the guides? Is there a way to assist the guides? His answer was clear: NTB cannot assist. So right now, the guide can only turn to Social Security. And when you go to Social Security, we are not in that category which can receive that help.
Sure. And tell me, in your example, for example, how many kids do you have?
Personally, I've got 2 kids, and I've got other members of the family with me.
So
Which means, if I give you an example, one guide, only one guide, if we put minimum, it's helping at least 5 to 6 people. So if you take now 500 multiplied by 5 people, for each guide there's a minimum.
Suddenly you've got a
Now,
huge crowd.
the exact number of people who are affected for this issue.
Yeah. And there is simply no address you can turn to. Tell me, did you guys have a talk to banks maybe and stuff like that?
We are part of those trying to find solutions. There is not any bank who's willing to assist us. On the contrary, we are on the wrong side with the bank, because some are still paying for houses, some are still paying for cars, and the bank is not willing to understand, you know.
Yeah.
We don't know what will happen within few months.
So have you heard anything? When will they start opening the borders? Have you heard any news?
We have no idea when the borders will open. So Mr. Digu was clear. He said that everything is in the hands of the government. It's only the government who can decide to open the borders, and government have got their own criteria to allow them to open the borders. So we hope one day they will be willing to open the borders, but even if they open those borders, we leave the responsibility in the hand of the government, considering also the safety of the Namibian population. But at the same time, all we are asking is to see in which way government can assist the guide and drivers who are freelancers. Because these are people carrying the responsibility, selling Namibia, taking the responsibility from the 2 operators. If you have got guides who are not qualified, drivers who are not qualified to do that job, I don't think Namibia will be at the place where it is right now when it considers tourism industry. Because guides and drivers are doing a very good job. Unfortunately, no one was talking about the guide on this crisis. They've completely forgotten who are the first one, even if the borders have to open, who are the first one who gonna deal with the issue of COVID-19. Because these are people who are gonna take again the client out there to show them Namibia, despite the risk of COVID-19. But now, there is no assistance from any organization, private or government, nothing.
Well, let's see. Like I said, this is a public show, and maybe there's somebody who will listen to your appeal, and hopefully we might find a solution. I personally don't have one, I'll be quite honest about it, but at least this way your plight has become known. So let's hope and pray that there is a solution in the coming.
Thank you so much. Let's hope someone who can hear what you are talking about. It's not about me, it's about all the colleagues in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk to them, you feel what they're going through. My fear is that they might reach a point where they will feel that there is no help coming, and then I don't want to talk about them reaching the case of suicide or whatever, but it's a scary situation. Believe me, it's a scary situation when you are talking to them. You see the reactions. It's like people don't have any more hope. Can really government see how they can assist these categories?
Right. So yeah, thank you for making time to speak to us, and hopefully you'll let me know very soon that something has happened as a result of this talk. So yeah, all the best to you, and I hope you find a solution forward.
Thank you so much for your assistance.
Okay.
We really appreciate it. And as soon as we get the feedback, you'll be among the first one to know about it.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, have a nice day.
Welcome.
Okay, ciao.
Bye.
Well, there you've heard it. Not easy for these people because there really is no way out. So let's hope that somebody is listening to this conversation today and hopefully get some help for these people. And that's what the show is all about. The show is obviously about the good news, but it is also a platform for the tourismus industry out there to hear of each other and to exchange news and find out what's going on in the various parts of this country. So hopefully we can play a bit of a helping hand in this regard. Thank you for watching. Ja, natürlich nicht so schön, sowas zu hören, aber auch das wollen wir bei dieser Show nicht auslassen. Es geht uns nicht darum, dass wir uns freuen, darüber berichten zu können, aber es ist wirklich so, dass diese Tourismus-Show soll ja nicht, natürlich in erster Linie wollen wir Ihnen Namibia vorstellen, wollen Ihnen Urlaubsideen antragen und so weiter, aber wir dürfen uns nicht vor der Realität verstecken. Und die Realität in der Zeit von Covid-19 ist eben die, dass wir eben jede Menge von den Reiseleitern haben, vor allen Dingen die eben freischaffend sind, sogenannte Freelance-Tourguides. Die sitzen auf der Straße und irgendwie gibt es momentan da keine Lösung. Keiner fühlt sich verantwortlich für diese Leute und das ist schon echt traurig, wenn der Mann davon redet, dass manche sich fragen, ob es sich überhaupt noch lohnt zu leben. Ich hoffe wirklich, dass jemand heute zugehört hat und einfach, der Mann hat keinen Ausweg mehr und der hat 2 Kinder. Also der eine oder andere vielleicht von Ihnen weiß von etwas, weiß von einer Lösung. Sie dürfen mich gerne dann auch anrufen, damit wir das eben weiterleiten an die richtigen Leute. Ja, das ist halt auch traurig, aber muss auch zwischendurch sein. Ja, ganz zur letzten Show kommen wir jetzt nochmal zu unserem Bild der Woche. Diesmal ist das ein Foto von Herrn Theodor Bösch, wirklich schön, Sesrim. Ja, ich meine, das ist einfach so, wenn eine schöne Regenzeit war und das Wasser im Zauchab runtergekommen und fließt dann eben von da aus hoffentlich durch den Sesrim sogar bis runter zum Sossus Flay, ganz beliebt, dann ist sowas natürlich wunderschön. Und ich habe es halt schon erlebt, ich habe sogar auch Wasser im Sossus schon erlebt. Wir haben ihn trocken erlebt, beides sind wirklich wunderschöne Anblicke. Es ist halt eine schöne Gegend, es ist eine einzigartige Gegend. Die Namib ist schon was Besonderes. Und da unten beim Zauchab, wo der sich so durchfrisst durch dieses Gestein über natürlich Millionen Jahre hinweg, also ist schon allerhand sich anzusehen. Ja, und das ist unser Bild der Woche. Somit kommen wir zum Ende dieser Show. Ich hoffe, Sie hatten ein bisschen Spaß dran und haben auch ein bisschen Nachrichten mitbekommen, was hier gerade in Namibia wieder läuft. Und hoffentlich auch ein paar Urlaubsideen. Und damit verbleibe ich bis zum nächsten Mal. Ich wünsche Ihnen ein schönes Wochenende. Tschüss.